you gotta get that out the way, or is that even mess with anything?
Oh. Alright, going live in 1 minute. Glasses on. You're cute.
Glasses gang.
Glass gang. Bang bang. There it goes. Right. Okay. Going live. Alright. Okay. Go ahead and get some people in here real quick.
Yeah, I didn't set my little invites app.
What to do, man? Okay. You turn that fan off.
Turn it off?
Yeah. I think, let me see if that.
Well, you turn it on
Yeah.
high.
What's up, Rashawn? Let me see if that's the noise. What's up, Rashawn? Turn it off. Yeah, it's that. It's gonna have to be off. How y'all doing? What's up, Bree? So we're talking about men and their emotions. I'm gonna go ahead and send out my invites, and then we'll go ahead and listen to the clip. Yeah, send out my invites, and we'll get started. I know he'll listen. I don't even like him.
I'll be that way too. I'm like, oh, do I feel like, nah, I'm good on you.
Like, do I need you in my business? Nah, I don't need you in my business. I almost got all my stuff, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Silent radio. Boom, boom. I think I got everybody. What's up? All right. All right, so now I done sent that already out. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. I'm gonna start the show. Da, 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 da. What's up?
Okay. If I was napping, I'm up now.
All right, let me go ahead. What's up, y'all? This is Toya V. You are tuned into Logic Over Emotions, powered by the Toya V Show. And today, the man of the hour is Ace Alpha. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. I'm excited to be on this pod for the very first time. You know what I mean? Even though we go back some years,
Yeah.
I'm very excited to get on this thing. You dig?
The last time he graced the airways was 12/22/21. That hasn't been the last time you've been on my show. Has it been that long?
No, I don't think so. When was the mix or the Toya V show
With G-Dog?
laid to what I don't want to say rest, cause you know what I mean, but you get what I mean.
I don't know. It's been a long time, darling. It's been a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip for you. It is very. This is gonna be a really good show. This is gonna be a really good show because I know that a lot of men cannot express their emotions, and I love the clip that I'm about to play because it shows you that even men to men have that issue of being vulnerable. So go ahead and play this for y'all. Oh, not that. Okay.
Have y'all spoke?
No, I ain't speak to Diddy, but you know, Diddy was my partner, bro. You know, I feel like Diddy ain't never did nothing wrong, bro. I just feel like he didn't do nothing wrong. I'm mad at him right now, though.
Why you mad at him now?
He went on the floor crying at the thing.
He was happy, bro. He was happy that the charges got dropped.
No, he went on the floor crying.
He was emotional at some points in court.
He went on the floor and went under the thing and cried.
What they doing there?
Chin up, chest out.
His baby.
You mean you did it?
Can y'all
Went
hear
back
that?
there laughing at you. Did you see that mother down there in the fetal position?
But
Now you got your children in there. You a man. You stand up.
his charges got dropped. He was happy.
They
He was
gonna put him
praying.
40, 50 years. He was
He
happy.
dropped his knees and said a prayer.
Bro, he was crying under the table.
He was happy the biggest charges got dropped.
They were
He
trying to
was
make him
crying under
40,
the
50
table, bro.
years.
He was
They
crying
raided
under
his
the table.
cribs and
Diddy thought he was going home. He was crying under the table. I want to talk to Diddy. You need to call my phone. I need to ask him, why the did you get down there under that table and that? Because I've been riding with him. I've been riding with him.
yeah.
I've been riding, but you got boys in there, man. You stand up, man. God then bless you. If you're going to jail, you're going to jail for something you got away with 1,000,000 times. That's why we go to jail. If we're going to keep it real. You stand up, you're still blessed. Your mama, you everybody blessed. You don't fold like no cricket.
Let me ask you
But like again, I'm expecting somebody to be like me.
Let me ask you one question, Bruce.
Okay. So that was a clip from the Breakfast Club. And that clip was with Bootsy and talking about P. Diddy. And about how P. Diddy basically was a punk, okay, for dropping to his feet and praying to God that he did not get jailed
Forever.
forever. So my thing is, what made you pick this topic? What was about this topic that made you like, hey, I want to do this?
Well, first and foremost, I am a strong believer that men need to have a safe space or not feel any type of way or that they would be judged for being any amount of emotional. And I think a lot of men, black men especially, have a false narrative that has been subconsciously taught to them or directly taught to them that if we are vulnerable, if we show quote unquote weakness, which is not weakness, but that's what it's labeled, that we're like, Boosie was explaining or suggesting a punk or weak or, whatever the case may be. I think just like anyone else, and unfortunately, as we were discussing before we started filming, there's this false narrative only black men carry that we cannot be emotional or vulnerable or express our feelings without any judgment. It's only black men. It's not Caucasian, it's not Asian, Indian, whatever you want to call it. It's only black men. Only black men are weak if we show being depressed, sad, cry even. I just hate that false narrative is out there, and I want to bring more attention to it in various conversations amongst men and women, however however it goes, that it's okay to be vulnerable as a black man.
Where do you think this comes from? Where do you initially think this? I mean, of course, we're all gonna. I know it comes from slavery, but I would say, why do you think it's held on to? Like, why do you think the stigma is still there?
It's just how we were psychologically conditioned, and it's just embedded in our people, whether it's our moms or dads telling us growing up that, hey, you got to be tough, you can't cry. I'll give you one example. I remember my aunt passed away, and I was, I want to say around 24, 25 maybe. And that was my motherfucking aunt, like my real aunt, not play aunt, not, was my mom's sister or whatever. And I just remember when I was in college, at times she would babysit my son. They had a little relationship, and she was just very motherly and caring and things of that nature. So when she passed away, of course, boo-hoo crying at the funeral. Boo-hoo crying at the repast, and I remember at the repast my mom was like, hey, don't toughen up, don't be crying, this, that, and the third. And I was so confused when she had mentioned that, because I'm like, God damn, that was my aunt too, shit, I want to cry. I mean, it didn't stop me, but that was like what was taught to us, like growing up as a young man, young kid, teenager, whatever the case may be. I never felt comfortable relaying or expressing my emotions at all.
Right.
The only time I got emotional, it was okay, I guess, for my mom was when she was, putting belt to ass. That was probably about it. Outside of that, it was like, toughen up, you're the man, you gotta carry yourself like this. And not even just our parents or our household is what we see as far as on TV, movies, shows. It's always the black man guy has to be tough, or crying is for girls or for wimps or for punks or whatever the case may be. And it's just so opposite of the truth.
Right.
The truth is, if you're able to show emotion,
show it.
You're strong. Because contradictory to the narrative that's placed out there, a lot of men don't show the emotion because they're scared of what someone else is going to say or think. That's being afraid of being your true self. And unfortunately, a lot of motherfuckers don't know is, it's like okay, my bad, mother effers. But no, people don't realize it's almost, if I can make a correlation, pressure bust pipes. If you do not release your emotions in a productive way, you're eventually going to crash out, as the young kids say now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to happen. It's inevitable. There's no way to avoid it. There's no way around it. And a lot of black men may look at that as, oh, this is me being tough. I'm not. That's actually you being emotional. when you're crashing out, you can no longer hide or
Control your
shield
emotions.
said emotions, so they're just coming out in an unproductive and negative fashion. So yeah, it's just crazy.
Crash out. I don't know, I use that word more now, but I do see, and I think it all has to do with knowing how to regulate their emotions. You know what I'm saying? And that's not taught. Learning how to regulate your emotion is not taught at all. I think when it comes to men, I feel like y'all are taught to just bottle it up. You know what I'm saying? Where women are taught to actually process the feeling, go through the feeling, and all that stuff, you know? And so do you think TV shows have affected men?
All of the above. That's actually something I mentioned just a moment ago. It's just the perception that we need to put on our hard hat, figuratively speaking, keep our head down, work hard, provide, and have no outlet or release for us. A lot of motherfuckers. Oh, sorry, I got to beat that one out. My bad. A lot of people have this idea for men that our outlet is working out or watching sports or talking junk back and forth while we are, in a competitive state. No, I mean that is that's one way to release it, but the mature way to release it is actually talking through your feelings. But as you mentioned, it's not taught. Literally, for me and myself, I went through some years of depression, coming from playing ball to just being, just a regular everyday citizen, working 40 hours a week, things of that nature. And in the midst of those years when I was depressed, which I didn't realize it until I got out of it, I actually found refuge, so to speak, in having different type of conversations with different people. And with having these conversations, I started to realize that I was not alone. You know what I mean? Like, I always felt like nobody would be able to understand things I went through because I just was naive to the fact that everybody goes through, trials and tribulations, if not every day, every so often. And through having said conversations, I started to gradually come out of my depression because I started to surround myself with people that were non-judgmental, for one, and two, it just was good to have different type of conversations, not sports driven. And I'm very knowledgeable, and I love me some sports. But for men, that is not the only thing that we can talk about. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've actually gotten to the point to where I don't really care to be around men that strictly talk about sports and music. Like, I want to talk about real life. What you may be going through, whether it's work, personal ambitions, or even if you're going through something and need to be vulnerable in a moment. I have this partner. He's like a brother to me. And I remember one time, this was years ago, but I believe his grandma passed away. And when we were talking, his voice was shaky. It's like he couldn't really, and he's very articulate. Like, he can speak with the best of them. But I was like, "What's up, boy? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, my grandma died. I'm starting to," and then he stopped. I'm like, "Nah, bro, get it off. What's up?" You know what I mean? And I started to hear his voice cracking, and then he was really able to dive into what was bothering him. Not just grieving her passing. It was more so of the fake relationships he felt like that surrounded her and things of that nature. And it was probably like it wasn't even a long session of him being vulnerable. Probably like 10 to 15 minutes. That's all it was. And after he got all of that out, I remember him sending me a text like, "Hey, bro, I appreciate that, man. I ain't know I needed that." Because even in the midst of the conversation, I was like, "Hey, bro, if you need to cry, get that thing out, man. Go ahead, cry, bro." Like, we're human. It's okay to cry. It's not a sign of weakness. It's natural. But we fight it so much. Like, "Oh, I'm a man. I can't cry." Like,
Right.
well, that is so opposite of being strong. Like, allow your emotions to flow free in the moment so that you can unpack, deal with them, and try to get on the other side. If
Right.
you're not releasing said emotions, they're just stuck,
Excuse me.
bottled in, and they're not going anywhere. So at some point in time, going back to the crash out term, it is going to come out because you haven't dealt with it.
Right.
You packed it in. You've suppressed it for so long to where when it does come out, you don't know how to act
Definitely.
at all.
So so how do we correct this? Like, what do you think that has to happen in order for this to even get out of that?
It has to be a collective effort.
Can there be a collective?
And that's the part that's the answer now. As far as whatever the mental block is for us black people, black men especially, it's really something that we have to figure out individually because unfortunately everybody, I'll give you one example. Everybody is not comfortable, especially men. And this is under the definition or title of being emotionally and mentally mature.
Right.
They're so afraid of expressing themselves because they don't want to be made fun of and they don't want to be looked at as, oh, you complaining, or I mean you cry more than a girl or a female or whatever the case may be. But the thing about that's a lot of projection from these other men that are saying that, like with Boosie in that clip, that is projection.
Right.
Because for those that have heard the clip or even seen the whole interview, a moment came where he mentioned like the father-daughter relationship.
Right.
And for 2 seconds he got emotional. It's like, oh, there you go. But he tried to be tough and not... It's okay. It's okay to care. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to love. Like, this has always been my thing, right? Mm-hmm. What do you really get out of always being tough for another guy? Because that's literally what you're doing. If you really think about it, you're trying to portray this image that I'm macho for what? What do you really get out of it?
Isn't it has to do with the animal kingdom?
It could, but we're not animals. So I like that. Like you said, it definitely does. But we're human beings with real emotions, and it's okay to let it out. Now, I got a rule though, because again, I'm very.
Hey, speaking, it's your platform. Go ahead.
I'm very intelligent in my emotional being, but I will give a man about 2 to 3 times as men, though. You know what I'm saying? If it's about the same thing, because we are still men at the end of the day. We got that outlet.
Oh, so you said he can't come to you more than 3 times about
with
the same
exact thing
topic.
Because at this time I feel like I've been there, like, and I'll thoroughly listen. Won't say nothing, give you advice. We can be on the phone for an hour or 2. Mm-hmm. Long periods of time. I can't just keep giving them long periods of time now. At the end of the day, you have to try to figure it out, because now I feel like you may be using me for my energy, my good energy, and now I got to take on your negative energy, and I got to think about myself too. Mm-hmm. You know, we all have to be mindful. You know, it's, like me, I'm not going to keep complaining about the same thing, but yeah, I will voice, you know, what's going on, ask for advice. At that time, I feel like, are you going to take this advice, or are you using me for, you know, to get off your negative energy? But like I said, you still have to be receptive to it. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, yes, you can be a man, but you can be vulnerable too. You can have said emotions. And the thing about it is, you get past these emotions. You don't stay stuck in them to where you spiral, or behind closed doors you're dealing with depression, but you don't know how to express it. And it's not even other men. If you're not comfortable with expressing yourself to other men or even women, that's why we have therapy. You get what I mean? Like, you have to have some type of outlet to get off your emotions.
Okay. So Ryan Presley says you want an emotional person in charge of your well-being.
My question to you, do you know what emotion means? Emotion is not just sadness. And that's where people got it confused. It's not just sadness. Emotion is happy. Emotion is excitement. Emotion is anger. Emotion it's everything. So just because you're not technically showing it, everybody's emotional. It's just you're hiding it versus putting it out there. And then sometimes when you're trying to lead, say you have that one time where you just crash out like we just said.
Yeah.
Now you make a bad decision as a leader because you never dealt with these emotions in the first place. Because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because Ryan Prentice says crashing out of the results of emotional being uncontrolled, that is a weakness. That is childlike behavior. So people with emotions can crash out at any time. So Ryan, what do you mean emotional person? Are you talking about an emotional person that does not know how to regulate their emotions? Or a person, like, explain what an emotional person means to you. Emotion is a form of expression. Okay, well, we know that, but you say you want an emotional person in charge of your well-being. We all have different emotions, but I'm saying, what is your definition of being emotional? Are you saying like overly emotional in a negative way? Because I can be mean. My emotions is negativity. You know, I could be an asshole. Would you like me to be, excuse my language, would you like me to be a top tier a-hole? You know what I'm saying? To take in charge, to be in charge of your well-being? No, you're not going to want that. So I need you to explain that for me. If you want to call in later, you can call in to really go a little bit deeper into the emotional person. Because I feel like that by you saying that, it gives me the feeling of women can't be in charge because they have a lot of emotions.
And there's always an appropriate time to deal with your emotion. That's the part that people miss. Mm-hmm. You have to there's 24 hours in the day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, 365 a year. You feel me? At some point in time, you have to take the time out for yourself to deal with your emotions. That's how you're able to control it in most instances, because for one, you've recognized it. Two, you've dealt with it. Three, you know your triggers. Like for me, there's certain things that I may not be around or bring up in discussion because I know it's a trigger for me. But I realize that. So I will not always avoid it, but there's appropriate times to deal with whatever negative emotion that you have. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you talk about someone being an emotional leader, a lot of times they're emotional in that leading because they've never dealt with their emotions. So with the pressures of being a leader, you've never dealt with your emotion. So now you're emotional because the stresses that come with being a leader is affecting your emotions that you never dealt with either. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it's always appropriate to be able to deal with your emotions, talk about it. We should be able to talk about it with each other. Like, it's cool. Like, we're human. Like, there's not one man, I don't care if you think you're the toughest man ever. You have cried. You're going to lie about it. You may not even bring it up.
Or you're not letting nobody see it.
Yeah, you're scared to again, so if you're scared, is that a weakness? That's my question. Because you don't want nobody to see it. Why you don't want anybody to see it? Because you're afraid of judgment?
So do you feel like, okay, because we're going to go back to Boosie. Mm-hmm. So you said Boosie his voice cracked up and then he corrected himself right away, right?
When they brought up his daughter. He started talking about his daughter.
Yeah, started talking. Yeah, the crack in his voice. Mm-hmm. And then he straightened it. So we had a person that came on before. What's up, Chris? He also said that there was, like, we asked him about, femininity, and you know what I'm saying, he taps into the feminine side of his emotions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh no, there's a manly way how to talk to your daughter. So even then he felt like the word feminine meant that he was weak.
He said that for female. That's what I believe how he responded. Because masculinity, femininity, it's not literally male or female. It's just a part of, like you said, being like soft to your daughter. Why am I going to talk to my daughter if I have a daughter? Like you act like they're crazy.
We got a call. Hold on a second. Hello? Give me one quick second. Let me get you going real quick. Hold on. Make sure you can be heard. Hello? Let me see. Can you hear us? I'm gonna hang up and call you right back. Because...
Yeah, we're trying to make it happen up here. Just bear with us real quick.
Okay. Hello? Hello?
Sound like one of those disguised calls. A person that's sending over a ransom message. What it sound like?
I don't know what that was, so I hung up.
Sounded like somebody was about to.
Yeah, that was.
I heard him.
I don't know who that was. Okay, hold on. Why does it sound like that? Hold on a second, baby. Hold up. Maybe I have something on his voice or something. Hello? Why do you sound like that? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, I don't.
Can't hear you through the thing.
We can't. I don't know what that was, but you sound like a demon.
Alright, y'all sound good now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope y'all can hear this because it's not coming through the computer today. I do not know what that was. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, well, the demon calling in.
No, you can't hear you. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Alright, I think it's a little misunderstanding where I'm saying and mix up in terms. Alright. When I talk about emotion, that's an expression. Emotions are an expression. No one's saying that you should not be working to understand the feelings that you may be having. Alright? But uncontrollable emotions, that shows exactly that. You're uncontrolled. As a man, especially because we can be far more dangerous than women. It is more pertinent. It is more, we are more needed to be in control of our actions. That's the point. No one's saying that you should not understand your feelings. No one's saying that there are not times that feelings can be, uncontrollable. Yes, all men cry. Yes, they do. But are you a person who cries all the time? Are you a person that's always outwardly acting because you're emotional about something? If you understand your emotions, as the gentleman was saying earlier, as far as being in charge and you more so understand your situation, that's maturity. You're learning. You're learning how to deal with certain emotions, and you can take care of them further in the future. That's why I say it's childlike. It's immature when you can't control them. You should always be looking to try to control them. That's all I'm saying. And before, just so I can get all this out, as far as Bootsy is concerned, I'm on the edge because he dropped to his knees, but he praying to the judge, to the jury. Those are humans that decided this outcome, not God. Those are humans. You gotta have some agency in what you're putting forth. Don't put God-like tendencies in a group of men. Don't do that. Go ahead.
Okay, you made your point. You have any other thoughts that we can go off on, or you already explained?
I just wanted to, here's old boy's opinion. What's your name? Old boy.
It's Ace Alpha. Let me ask you this question, because what I'm getting at is, in order to be at the level to where you can control your emotions, you do have to have those moments of vulnerability to explore and go through them. Because if you continue to ignore them, you're not going to be able to eventually control them. So when I'm mentioning having these conversations or being able to be vulnerable, those are the moments that you're working on it and learning about yourself, or releasing said emotions. Not all the time, not when you're in charge, not when you're on the job. It's when you're in your downtime, having these specific conversations, whether it's with your partner, your pastor, your family, or even your therapist. Not when you're in motion of your job or handling responsibility. If you're avoiding these moments to work on yourself, it's not going to allow you to grow emotionally, because you're never taking the time out to actually explore said emotions. That's what I mean, because you can crash out in the middle of making a tough decision because something triggered you, and that trigger is foreign to you because you never explored it. So that's all I mean. Is like, you have to be able to, it's like practice. Like, say, let's bring in the sports correlation. You have the game, right? That's the final product. That's what everybody sees. But behind closed doors, you're putting in that work. Same with your emotions. Behind closed doors, you're working on yourself. You're not putting that out for everybody to see, but in the background, you're working on that. So that's all I mean. Like, you have to have these moments to where you're actually working on yourself, or be comfortable with doing that, so you understand at times when something real happens, you're able to control that. You know what triggered you, you know what you're going to stay away from, and so on and so forth. You feel me?
I feel you. I would just swap out the word emotion with feelings. And I think that's where our problem in our community comes in. Not necessarily how masculine we may be, because actually, black men in America are probably the least masculine in America out of the men. Because we have to try to show it so much. We're trying to prove, all right? We're not comfortable in ourselves. And I think that comes from not speaking about our feelings, not emotions. Emotions is an outward expression. That's emotion. That's an expression, whether outward or inward. But when you speak about feelings, which we very rarely do in our community, like, I can maybe count on my hand the number of times I've spoken with, at least growing up. I do it myself, so you can contest to that. But growing up, rarely black men get this chance to speak about our feelings. Rare. Even when, say, getting over a relationship, what do your boys usually do? Yeah. And you just on to the next thing. You don't speak about it. And when you never speak about those emotions build, those feelings build, and they turn into heavy emotions. And either they can be held inside, or they can be expressed outside, when all of a sudden you might be stalking somebody. All of a sudden somebody kidnapping somebody. All of a sudden somebody shooting somebody. You never know what, or jumping off a bridge. You never know what those emotions can result in. So you got to work on the feelings so you can control the emotions. That's my point.
You made some good points.
Yeah, I mean, but the feelings and emotions are intertwined to me. That's, but I get where he's getting at. But they're both one and the same. And to me, of course, you're speaking about the actual action versus your feeling, but they're, one is the brother or sister to the other word. You get me?
I think we kind of on this. I think we basically on the same on the same boat.
Yeah, just the terminology. Okay, with me, I get where you're going, but yeah, you do, like, I agree, like the part about like going through a breakup or whatever the case may be. Us as black men, we don't want to talk about it. Now me, I'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll ask. Like, hey, bro, you good now? He may not want to discuss it, which is cool. But I've said, hey, bro, you straight? You want to talk about it? I always will give that space for my fellow brother to speak about, what they're going through now. If they elect to take that, that's ultimately up to them. But I'm always going to offer that space. And I think the bigger picture, or the bigger goal that I'm trying to reach, is we have to do the work as far as offering that space, and also on the other side, be okay with my partner, my brother, or whomever, they really care about me. Let's go ahead and talk, through this, and then move on to the rest of the night, the weekend, whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, once y'all get done turning up or enjoying the sporting event, and whoever goes home with those heavy feelings, it's gonna be right there for them to deal with. It ain't going nowhere.
Well, briefly, because Toya made a statement.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of misunderstood what I was saying as far as women being in charge. Like, women have a lot more. Put it this way, it's more accepted in our society that women don't have to be able to control their emotions, but women can. There are a lot of women who control their emotions. Not promoting this woman, but look at Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, that's a strong woman. Scary woman. But she controls. Up to a point that we know. You don't want to end up on no list.
Right.
But, but hey, I'm just saying that there are very strong women. Just in our society, it's not as we like to promote. Just show it, girl. And when you do that, that's why you get, a lot of people, not just women, because again, it's about acceptance. You get a lot of people out here just outwardly expressing emotions, thinking it's cool, and it's disruptive. It causes issues. It causes issues to those around you. Even when you talking about, say, a funeral, I understand crying, I understand feeling emotion, but at the same time, especially I feel like as a man, you're supposed to be someone strong that others within your family can kind of lean on.
Oh, no, I disagree with that. I'm sorry. If my brother, my sister, my mom passed, I'm letting that go because that's my relationship. That's my relationship. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, but everybody also grieves differently too. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm with you, but I believe that there should be men there that you can kind of lean on.
But what
it got to be a strong pillar there for people who are, because everyone goes, nobody's stronger than everything. Nobody's Superman. Even Superman cry. But there have to be pillars there so people don't fall over.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but what about that man that didn't have the opportunity to grieve appropriately and somebody be strong for them? Well, I don't think that's fair to them. I don't think that's fair to them, you feel me?
I just say everybody doesn't have to, like grieving isn't necessarily sitting up there and crying. Now, if that's what you want to do, hey man, do it. There's still more acceptable places to do certain things. Like if you want to sit there and grieve over a family member, hey man, do that. I'm not saying that all crying for men is deplorable. No, I'm just saying it should be controlled. If you're a man that cries over every little thing, that needs to be looked into.
Now that's micro versus macro. Like crying at a funeral is different than crying at every single thing now, bro. You feel me?
No. Again, it's closeness in relation to, if something happened to my mother, knock on wood, man, I'm gonna be hurt. But hopefully, my uncle or something will be there, so I don't end up, emotionally crashing out on something like that. I need somebody strong that, that's a lot of times that's where your wife comes in as that shoulder, someone to comfort you, help you through those times. So again, that's another role for a wife.
But that's also that man having the space to be vulnerable. You feel me? So ultimately, there has to be some space for the man to be vulnerable. Of course, it doesn't have to be in front of everybody. It does not. If you have that one friend, brother, spouse, confidant, however you want to label it, at least have somebody you can go to release, even if it's a therapist. Just someone has to be there. Like we all have to collectively come together to be there for each other to make things easier. And we're the only race, black men especially, or black people, that there's a negative connotation that comes with showing your feelings or showing your emotions. No other race does it.
Well, that's because we show too much.
What? Other races do too. It's just not talked about. Like everything that we do is put like on display. Like, how about keeping some of these discussions indoors, like every other race? You get what I'm saying? Like the negative conversation, the negative comment. Only black people do it. We're the only ones that do it. We don't know what's going on with other races. We don't know because they keep their business in house.
Well, but you just made a statement that only black people, which means you're making a comparison. The thing is that when you see other races do it, they call it out. They call it out. When black people do it, there are moments that are acceptable, but then there are times that we're doing a little bit too much. All right. Now everything is cultural. All right. I'm not saying that we need to be exactly like every other culture. Well, white people don't do. Nah, I ain't saying that. You know. But guess what? We in a white country, so it's going to be called out a little bit more with us. But does that mean that we just need to accept the way? No, I'm not saying be just like white people. We do need to self-evaluate.
Okay, I feel you.
Yeah. That's it, man. Hey, man, well, it was great talking to you, man. Toya, continue good work. All right, talk
Thank
to you later.
you. All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Alrighty. That was a good conversation, right there. So one thing that he said was that I'm gonna put together, and I hope. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so he said that, and I'm not sure. He said that black people. No. Was it you that said that black men's emotions are put out more, or did he say that?
I believe he said that.
He said that. Okay, so he said that that the emotions of black men have been put out more than any other race. And so, how do you feel about that
statement?
Yeah.
It goes back to no, it goes back to, me making mention, and he was, he brought up me trying to compare, and I wasn't. It's just that black people, black men, for the sake of this conversation, their ish is put out for ridicule or judgment more than any other race. Whether that's, that comes from just the psychological conditioning of how, how things went in this country, which is a topic for a different day. But that's just what it is. It's kind of like, when, like, say something happens to a black person, period. Mm-hmm. When you're on social media.
Right.
9 times out of 10, who continues to add fuel to the fire with negative comments? It's us. When you see something happen to some other race, whatever that may be, I'm not going to say it's totally quiet, but it moves along quickly because these other races are not adding fuel to the fire like we do. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of also the idea of, which is, this is for a bigger discussion. Why would other races take us serious when we don't take ourselves serious as a race? It's almost like the crabs in the barrel mentality.
I think it's more of laughing at our pain to get through the pain. I think that's what to answer that question, I think it's that.
I think that's for some people, but I think, I understand that optimistic point of view. Because that's what it is. Because a lot of us do like to, they do laugh. We do laugh through our pain, but a lot of us are projecting as well. Because we'll hate on, when I say we, I'm just talking about us as a race. We'll hate on our own kind before somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it will be envious. Like, oh, I want what that person has instead of supporting.
Right.
So it all kind of comes full circle with all of this is connected. For the most part, there's a little sprinkle of self-hate or projecting or crabs in the barrel, or there's some that's just laughing at our pain, but it's always us. We're always put front and center, regardless. When do you, and it's not to compare, but when do we ever really hear about the masculinity of a white guy? When?
No. I haven't.
It never has hit my algorithm ever.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, we got another caller. Hold on.
Hopefully we can hear him.
Hello?
There we go
I don't know
again.
what that was. But
Can you hear me?
1 second. Go ahead. Who is this?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Alright, what up, Toya Vita Sideways Radio?
What's up, Sideways? What's up?
What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Freeze from the 423, representing SidewaysRadio.com. Yo, I was just chilling on y'all conversation here. I'm gonna drop a few little things. I understand what my boy is saying on the line there. One I want to say is that, hey, one, you feel the way that you think, you know, so we talk like emotions are uncontrollable, but, you know, you're going to feel the way that you're thinking about, you know. If you're thinking about something, that's how you're going to feel about it, you know. So like I said, I've said this time and time again, you know, as a man, as a person, you got to be in control of your thoughts, you know, and that comes with discernment on how you want to express yourself to either the next man or the next woman, your spouse, your mother, because everybody ain't got their best interests for you. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I say you got to have discernment on who you choose to express your emotions to. And like I said, you know, you got to be able to think and then be able to project those things on what you want to talk about, you know. And I guess the bottom line of my conversation right now is that emotions are controllable. You know, people have been talking like emotions just creep out and we ain't got no control of these things, you know. All you gotta do is just control the way that you think and you gonna control the way that you feel, you know. And as my uncle always says, you know, like I said, you just gotta keep your hand on the rudder all the time. You know, the ship that don't have no destination out there is always gonna wash up on shore somewhere, you know, but if you have some type of destination out there, 80% you're going to find where you need to land. So like I said, we just have to control ourselves. Like I said, that's being a masculine thing. You want to talk about men and women, you know, I just think as men, you know, I just think that we just got to practice more discernment on who you want to express yourself to and the things that you're thinking about. Control yourself, you know what I'm saying? That comes with meditation. That comes with whatever you need to do, you know, but emotions are definitely controllable. That's all, that's the main thing I want to say, you know. You in love with somebody, you mourning somebody, you know, all these things has to go with the things that you're thinking about, you know. And that's just the bottom line, you know, emotions are controllable. And we have to elevate ourselves to think better thoughts and be in control of our thoughts and our mind, because you are the master. Self-control is key. Hey, love your show.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to get on up out of here and I'm going to listen to what y'all say about it, all right?
All right. Thanks.
All right, peace.
So how did you feel about that comment from that caller?
Oh, no, I agree with it. But I think, and I don't want anybody to take this wrong, I think a lot of men are talking about the final product versus the process to get there. Yeah, I agree with everything he said, but you have to get there. You have to be able to have these talks or release these feelings so you are able to control it. Like, you're not going to just automatically get there and just think that I can control my emotions if I've never dealt with my emotions. They're your emotions, so you're going to have to deal with them at some point. So I believe the final product is being discussed versus the process to get there. There's work, you know. It's almost like, you know, just becoming mature just as a person. You have to become emotionally mature. You're not going to become a mature person if you don't work at it. If you don't go through the steps of responsibility just to be a mature person in general. The same applies to emotion. You know how many men are depressed current time used to, and they don't recognize it because they don't want to deal with their emotions because
a man kills himself every day.
Yeah, because they don't know they're depressed because they're not, dealing with their emotion. They're not addressing it, and it can be anything. And I do agree with the part that he said as far as being mindful of who you're expressing said emotion to. That's a part of the emotional maturity that I'm speaking about. You just can't just go to anybody, just let me cry and just talk about my pain or whatever. You can't just do that with anybody. You know what I'm saying? You got to
do. That's why he said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do the work. You got to go through your vetting process. There may be like a handful of people that I can be all the way vulnerable with because I trust them. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the point to where, you know what, I don't really feel like going through these people that discuss this. I'm gonna pull up on my therapist, the professional. Right. So there's different ways, you know what I mean?
Depending on the topic, you feel like
how deep I want to go, and pause.
Do you think that you select based off of what you really want to hear back from them because they possibly could agree with how you think?
It just really depends, honestly. Depending on our conversations, what you've relayed to me over time and what I've relayed to you, that's where the comfortability comes into play. If you've never discussed anything real with me, like organically, I'm not about to tell you my business.
Okay, so basically, right. So of course, like if I only talk to you about sports, then there's no you haven't put the foundation to talk about anything more than that. Ryan and Sideway Radio says meditation is great, and Sideway says deal with your thoughts and emotions.
But everybody doesn't know how to meditate either.
Yeah, because some people see meditation as praying. You know what I'm saying? So they might not use the word praying. You know what I'm saying?
Or self-reflection. A lot of people don't know how to be self-reflective either. So
that's true.
Like just thinking about, sometimes you gotta put yourself on Front Street for yourself. Like, dang, if I would have did this, if I would have made this decision, what was my fault?
But you have to be around somebody to teach you that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of people don't learn themselves until like after they get out of their normal people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. So like, excuse me, you mature all the time, right? So like I'll say college, right? College, until I got to college, I didn't know how to dress, right? But then when I got out of college, I realized that it wasn't as important as I thought it was when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm saying this is, I wouldn't, if I didn't get out of that, my original area, I wouldn't have been able to know that, hey, this is what this is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of times people go through life and they haven't been in those situations that cause them to actually grow. You see what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, if this guy doesn't go to a male meetup or whatever for, say it was like, oh, cigar lounge, they'll go because of the cigar lounge, but when they get there, they're actually having deep conversations. You see what I'm saying? So if that person don't smoke cigar, he will not meet a group of people that think like that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I think it is, where you are, because a lot of times people like to be stuck in their own environment.
Yeah, you have to, also with that, you have to be comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Staying in that environment that you're so used to, you're used to the surroundings, you're comfortable there. Comfortable is cool, but nothing grows there, unfortunately. You have to continue to push the envelope for yourself, so you do place yourself in different type of environments or different rooms, or for your, I guess, development, try to have like different conversations. Again, I go back to me transitioning from basketball to not playing anymore. All I knew was sports and hanging around the same group of people. That's all I knew. That's why I went through my depression. Like, I was just thinking about, dang, man, I used to be this guy and people know me for this. Like, that's all I knew. I knew that space. And then when I started just to get around just, regular working people, my thought process and my perspective started to change because I'm not in this environment 24/7 anymore. Basketball was literally up until what? 23? I'm 39 now, 23. From 6 to 23, that's all I was around. That's almost 20 years of my life. You get what I'm saying? So when I transitioned out of it, I didn't know how to keep a job. I was still fixated on partying with, the people that I came up with, whether it was sports people or people that I met while playing. And then, I gradually, I went through my little depression, which I didn't know it was. When I started to get a hold on just, moving different, things started to change for me. I started to, even though I love sports to this day, basketball especially, I'm not fixated on, that part of my life anymore. I actually enjoy having to change, or as Ryan Clark would say, pivot. You know what I mean? I pivoted, and I started to have different type of conversations which allowed me to know that life was more than just that space I was always in. And in order for me to grow, and I really feel like this, my basketball career didn't take off, is because I had the mindset of never thinking about or talking about my feelings or emotions, whatever term y'all would like to use. I never did that. And I feel like if I could do it all again, a lot of things that I kept bottled in, whether it was a relationship-wise, family-wise, the relationship between, me and my son's mother. You get what I'm saying? Like, I bottled all of that in. And I feel like eventually that affected me negatively as far as what I tried to accomplish. Now, everything happens for a reason. I don't regret it. I had to go through something. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through something to learn, to experience these emotions or these feelings, tackle them, talk about them, and now I know how to deal with said emotions, said feelings. You know what I mean? But I'm still human. I'm still going to have my moments, and that's the thing. We have to also give ourselves grace.
That's true.
We're going to have a bad day. We're going to be irritated. We're going to be annoyed, and we don't know why. It's natural. Give yourself grace. We're human, and all of this is okay. Every day we're trying to figure it out.
So before we close out, I'm going to finish reading the rest of these messages. Andre Tyrone says, emotions are complex reactions. Feelings are expressions of emotions sharpened by your thoughts or beliefs. Ryan Prentice says, emotions derive from feelings. And then Andre Tyrone says, meditation is a great way to help you understand yourself. So I see that we have a lot of interaction in this show. So I will bring him back for part 2 so that we can finish this, because there's so much more about men being able to express their emotions, because we haven't even got on the female side.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We haven't got
another hour.
Shut up. And we haven't even gotten the female perspective side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and shout out what you do. I know you also have a podcast, so he's gonna give you his information, and we're gonna have to see you on next Thursday. Well, no, because next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
in 2 weeks, maybe. I
already got somebody booked for the 24th.
Dang.
For the 4th.
Well,
but after,
I'll be back.
I rebuke him. I will rebook him. Let's get it back. Rebook him.
Y'all gonna see me plenty. You know what I mean? It may not be all the time, but I'm gonna be on this thing. You feel me? But as she was saying, follow my socials, Instagram and TikTok @_alpha2. My podcast, Objective Bias, merch coming soon. You can find me on YouTube, like, subscribe. Again, that's Objective Podcast, Ace Alpha. But yeah, it was fun, and we're going to have to do it again.
Yes, so thank you, callers. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Sideways Radio, for calling in. I'm so grateful that y'all are not shy to speak up, and I really appreciate it. So we'll see part 2 on the females' view on men and their emotions, and do women think men are weak for crying? So we'll see you. Well, no. We'll see you on the 4th,
We'll see you in a
December.
minute.
I'll see you December 4th because, and happy Thanksgiving. Eat for me. Did y'all know I don't like sweet potato pie? And I don't
Oh,
like
yeah.
monkey pie?
I don't. Me too. I'm right there with you. See?
Oh, then I still got my black card then.
It's not like I don't. Before we go, it's not like I dislike it, but it don't bust like.
I don't like it at all. I don't like it. So if you have to take
I don't remember the last time
yeah.
I had either. I'm good.
So
I'm all right.
anyway, y'all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of football. But I appreciate you tapping in. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. That was good.
Indeed, it was. I think.